Borger police say they were called out to the 900 block of Nelson Street at approximately 6:30 p.m. on a family disturbance call that soon turned deadly. The project manager tells me Montego Bay terminated his contract just last week and that some of his subcontractors haven't been paid for more than 2 months. Reporting live in Clovis, New Mexico, Marissa Lucero, Pro News 7. What was once an empty field of rundown apartments is now becoming a complex of homes for disabled veterans.
Larry, there wasn't an empty seat today at the city work session. Now, animal activists sat in and took notes as City Manager Jared Atkinson addressed the topic and issues at Animal Control. Now, he listed issues that the city will be looking at or is currently looking at, including facility upgrades, staffing, additional training for animal control officers, and changes to internal procedures. And the city is also having Regional Veterinarian James Alexander make assessments alongside Interim Director Scott McDonaldson. The regular meeting is now underway, and because it's an agenda item, citizens cannot make comments at the end of the meeting but can address some of those issues when city council members bring up the agenda item.
Larry, with April being Alcohol Awareness Month, I spoke with a young man who's a recovering alcoholic. His name is John Payne, and he's only 18 years old, not even old enough to drink. But what he's gone through, you'd think he'd be a lot older. Larry, while I was out there today, I asked volunteers to describe to me what the last week and a half has been like. Well, they told me it's been heartbreaking, hard, but it's also been hopeful.
As soon as he gets everything picked up here, we need to shovel all the outside stuff.
They're working in shifts. They're working through debris and ash.
We try to get started about 8 o'clock in the morning. We take about 30-minute lunch break.
And every day, it's another family's entire life being swept to a corner.
There may be some shovels in the back.
Left behind from the Fridge fire.
There is a lot of work here. We come in these properties. We get the metal separated out. If there's anything that the people want us to sift through to try to find some valuables that may have survived the fire.
The First Southern Baptist Church has brought in nearly 80 volunteers to help families who can't afford to clear their own properties. And when the first cleanup crews were allowed in, they had a lot more than just broken glass and ash to deal with.
Originally, when they first went out there were still hot spots out, and there were shoes being melted and all kinds of things.
The volunteers wear everything from layers to steel-toe shoes and masks.
We'll come on, shovel all that out.
But they say the long days are worth it. They can start to see the hope in those who lost everything.
Well, sometimes when you look at after disaster, you say, how can I rebuild? But once we kind of get things cleared out, they seem to see hope.
Kelvin Winters, pastor of the First Southern Baptist Church, also wanted us to clear up some confusion about their cleanup volunteers. He says their crews are not selling any of the metal that's found on the property. That is up to the property owner. He said it once last night at the city council meeting in front of a room full of concerned citizens.
We've got to stop this at the root, and the root is irresponsible people.
And today is no different. Mayor Paul Harpel isn't shying away from the issue at hand.
You're saying that the root of this is irresponsible pet owners.
Absolutely. I can't place the blame anywhere else. Now, does that mean we did everything right? No, it doesn't.
Harpel says he's not excusing what the city was lacking in, but in the last 3 weeks since Scott McDonald has been appointed interim director, changes to building updates and internal procedures have gotten animal control on the right path. According to Harpel, animal control is inspected once a year. So when we ask,
how do you think these problems or maybe issues or allegations were being missed?
That's a very good question. I think when we're looking at a standard the government sets, it's a minimal. There are things you do to meet that. We don't want to do that anymore. We want to meet a higher standard.
Harpel says the city still has a long way to go, but the number of pets being euthanized every year is what concerns him.
We're not at a point of understanding all the things we didn't do yet. We'll look at that. But as a city as a whole, can we be proud of the fact that we're euthanizing 8,000 animals year after year after year?
So this is his second time to go to jail.
Chastity Downey, a mom, and a grandma to the young boy in her arms. Her son is now in jail for the second time for the use of synthetic drugs. She says it's affected the entire family. So right now is a good enough time as any to take a stance.
The first time whenever he got out, he, swore in jail that, he was going to change his life and everything. And it took 2 days and he was back on it.
Impact Futures,
We got a little kid out here whose daddy's in jail because of it.
a drug-free community organization that aims to reduce and prevent substance abuse among the youth.
It takes a community to raise our kiddos and to protect our children. And if we don't do something else about it, who's going to do it?
I think the more that the community knows that it's out there, they'll know what to watch for. I had no idea what to look for in my son, whenever he was on it. I had no idea the warning signs.
K2 is a mixture of herbs and dried grass laced with chemicals. Lavisa Matthews says the group's goal is to shut down head shops selling these drugs, and she believes Route 66 is one of them.
The reports have been from kids who have told us, yeah, I just bought from this place.
But until any legal action can be taken, the group is relying on one message.
Why are we here? K2Q!
These kids are the next generation, and if you don't do anything to help stop this, then they're going to grow up with it or with something even worse.